The overarching goal of the African countries is to build a productive, nutritious, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable food systems that have the ability to accelerate the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal by 2030. Now, to end hunger, a lot of questions comes to mind whether or not Africa will be able to actually be the hub of food distribution globally. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to Africa Youth Party, where we coordinate great minds, try ideas, interact, and also try our possible way to find solutions to problems confronting the African continent. This is actually the Vice Versa Media Ghana's initiative. My name is Mike, host of Frempong live from Accra, Ghana, and I'll be connecting with great minds about the continent when it comes to agriculture. Welcome. Now, with our first agricultural lands, the big question is, can Africa become the world food basket? And that is actually our topic for the month of Ramadan Africa Youth Chapter. And I'm sure it is actually giving you some thoughts whether or not you will be able to feed the world globally. Well, I will not be doing this alone. I will be joined very soon with our dear sister. She is actually the CEO of Pador Industries Limited at Mbisi in the Busa South District in the Upper East region, in the person of Patience Kwakyewa Asirifi, and then also be joined by Fafape Ama Etsa Foe, popularly known as the Mushroom Prince, and the Gabriel Lartey, founder of Lartman Farms here in Accra. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. So now, let me ask the question. We are having a lot of challenges when it comes to being self-sufficiency in terms of food. Now, my first question is, what are some of the unique strengths Africa has in agriculture? Gabriel, you can start for me.
All right. So, first off, if we want to talk about the strength Africa has in agriculture, then we can look at what's available in terms of resources. And to look at that, we can look at what available land do we have. Currently, Africa has over 60% of the world's uncultivated land, which is the arable land. And that alone is one of the strengths that we can look into and we can take advantage of, because we have a lot of space which we can use to farm. So that's the very first set of things that I'll mention, among other resources, but I'll let the other panelists also share their thoughts on that.
Okay, Fafa, let me come to you. In terms of agriculture, what are some of the unique strengths Africa possesses?
Right. Africa is a blessed continent. To start with, we have a good climate. When you compare our climate to other continents, we have a very, very stable climate condition. When you take a closer look at Ghana, for instance, we have only 2 seasons. We have the dry season and the rainy season. So farmers will be able to plan very well in terms of the seasons. And also, when you take a closer look at our lands, we have a lot of arable land. Compare African continent to other continents, especially the Middle East, you will say that Africa is indeed blessed as an agricultural hub in the world. So we are, first of all, blessed with arable lands. We have considerably a good climate for agricultural purposes. And also, we can say that the people originally have a mindset towards agriculture. Our forefathers started with agriculture. So that mindset is still there, just needs to be improved. Thank you.
We've heard from Gabriel and then Fafa. To them, they believe that indeed we have actually the lands in terms of, and also the strength when it comes to agriculture to actually produce more in the future ahead. Do you share the same thing with them?
Yes, in addition to the land and the other things my colleague talked about, we have an available labor force. We have a youthful labor force. And so there's opportunity to always leverage on the existing labor force. We have so many people who are available And so we have a significant labor force that is available to be used or to engage in agriculture. So I think that in addition to the available land, and then we have, favorable weather condition, ecologies that are actually supporting or actually support agri. So the labor is available, the land is available. And even when you consider the top 10 arable lands in the world, Africa, Africa takes a chunk of it. And Nigeria, it's also in the top 10. And so it means that there's a huge potential for Africa when it comes to agri. There's so much we can do. Thank you.
All right. You are in the law. Is the weather condition there favorable enough for it?
Yes, the weather condition, depending on which part of the north we are, basically we have one season agri. But there are acres of land that are available or that could be used for irrigation. We have irrigatable areas available that could be used. We have the tunnel irrigation dam that is around Navrongo tunnel getting to Mehisi. We have a potential also around Mion in the northern region, getting from that is between Tamale and Yendi. It's possible to also, construct irrigation lands, dam around that area. And there are other possible areas, even considering the Nalerudu area, we could also tap into this opportunity. And so, though the season is one time, there's opportunity to engage in irrigation farming, which could provide all year round resources or food. Because, for instance, at the moment, it's dry rice or dry paddy that is on the market. But because of the irrigating farm, you can still get fresh paddy from the irrigation sites. And I think we have already spoken with some of the farmers not long ago, and they're ready to supply us with. So there's opportunity. There's so much you could do irrespective of the challenges with the weather.
I see. Fafa, let me come back to you. I just spoke of labor force, and I'm sure in terms of labor, we are talking about the youth in agriculture. So I want to ask, what role do we, the youth in Africa, have to play in all this, in promoting, making sure that indeed one day we can actually become the hub of food distribution?
Thank you very much. The youth have the advantage of increased energy. They have the energy to transform agriculture, especially farm. Have currently the technical know-how. They are more exposed because of technology and the internet. They are more exposed to some of the modern ways of farming, and the youth, especially back with education, are able to transcend the subsistence farming and entering into commercial farming, which is a good thing for Ghana. And also, we are seeing more of the youth now expressing their interest in agriculture, especially into non-cash crops. When you take a closer look at cashew, coconut, things that the older generation are not too much in. We are seeing a lot of our youth entering these areas. So the youth are playing a very pivotal role when it comes to advancement in agriculture in Africa.
Thanks so much. I'm sure with your workplace, you've employed youth to actually help you with what you do. Looking at their impact, do you see any form of positivity?
So, first off, I would say that I find myself in the bracket of being a youth. When I started my farm, I started my farm alone, but then I decided to join different areas where I could find some pieces of information. And then after I found out information, I ran with it for quite some time now. And now we do have Lartman Farms, which has set up over 170 different farms. Now, if we are to take a look at all of the farms we've set up, we see that a lot of the people who are working in the farms, about 70 to 80%, are young people. When I say young people, I'm looking at people from between the ages of, let's say, 17 years to as much as high as 35 years. Okay. So at my workplace, all of the people I'm being the key people in the business are all young people, from administrator to operations manager and what have you. We are all young people. And we try to also further share knowledge and information. So we do share a lot of the information we've learned through partnership and training with other organizations using different mediums. There is the YouTube, where we share a lot of quality information on how to farm fish. I'm talking about the backyard fish farming of either tilapia or catfish. Another set of things that we are doing over there is also sharing success stories of farmers. So if there's I've shared stories of young people who have been doing this for more than a decade, and it's more or less like trying to inspire the next generation of young people who would want to enter into farming. So when it comes to young people, the role we are playing in agriculture is enormous, and we need to be ready to even do more and share more light on being able to capture the next generation of farmers, who are the next generation of young people, so that we can also build that force and all of
Now, agri is technology based. It's not like the calculus and bowl we need to do. You need technology to drive agri. And so we cannot rely on the born before computers. We need the born after computers. And that is the youth that we are talking about. And so they are tech savvy. Imagine giving your phone to a young person and the person is able to manipulate it. In the same way, these youth, through various entrepreneurship and agri-tech challenges, have been able to develop various platforms that are actually supporting agri. And so technology, because of technology, the youth is so crucial, because we cannot drive agri technology without the youth. And so they are a critical component when it comes to agri. And we have to make sure that we give them the training, like you said, the training that is required, the resources that are required, the exposure that is required to be able to harness the potential they have when it comes to agri. For instance, here, I also work with, apart from being the CEO of Pador, I also work with Florida Technical University. And we are running a program in collaboration with Cosmos Innovation Center. And there's a program called agri-tech challenge. And through the agri-tech challenge, we have been able to train quite a number of youth, and over 50, businesses in agri have been incubated. And I'm still proceeding. Yes, and it's still ongoing. It's still ongoing. And these businesses are thriving. And they are not only in one section of agriculture, just as they operate along the complete value chain. So from developing new varieties of crops or seeds, to platform, marketplace, to harnessing, like in the era where we're talking about climate issues, we have one of the startup called Green Hat SB, actually harnessing carbon, just harvesting the carbon, sequestering the carbon, and transforming it into vinegar, which will be used to spray our farms instead of using the ordinary chemicals that affect our health. So these are some of the things, just a few of them that I have mentioned, that the youth are actually engaged in. And so the youth is so critical. We can't do, we can't do system outbreak without engaging the youth. And I'm sure that as we continue with some of these initiatives, their interest will actually be with, and they will really be engaged. I think that there's also what we call the Young Farmer Business Academy. And even in Ghana, in I think 2023, the best farmer now it has also set up an agri, I think, Tribal Institute or something like that, somewhere in the country. And then all these things are coming into play. And the basis is that we want to change the mindset of the youth. Agri is not
I'm sure together we can do a lot to change the mindsets of the youth, like you said. But if you just join us, this is actually Africa Youth Chat, where we connect great minds on the African continent. We tell the good story of our roots, of what we are made of, to the rest of the world. Today, our topic is: can Africa become the world's food basket, unlocking Africa's potential to feed the globe? I'll be joined via Zoom with Fafape, Gabriel, and then also Patience, who are all into our agri sector, to making sure that we actually meet something in the years ahead. It will get to a point where I will be able to actually feed the world with the kind of ambitions that we are making. But let me move down to technology. I'm sure there are a lot of technological ways of improving agriculture, of making things more easier, of which Patience actually did mention some of them. But how has Africa actually used technology to revolutionize our agriculture? Fafa.
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. I believe that it's a work in progress. Technology has come to stay in Africa, and we are seeing a remarkable improvement in especially farming in Africa through technology and innovation. When you take a closer look at companies like Hello Tractor, based in Nigeria, all that you have to do as a farmer is to go on the app and book for a tractor. That's anywhere you are in some parts of Africa, especially Ghana, Nigeria, and some other African countries. You get in touch with a tractor and they are on your farm just with a click on your phone, with your smartphone, or through an agent. And we have Isoko, for example, who manages the weather data. You can get access to data to know exactly what, where, and when to plant your crop. So some of these things are examples of technology that is helping us. And when you take another side of all this, is the machinery and the equipment. When it comes to agro processing, for example, we are getting used to now to some unique equipment that are helping us to process our farm produce. When you take a look at cereals, granules, now we have machines that are processing them into beautiful paste for exports. Manual hands are being eliminated gradually. We are seeing some, even when it comes to mushroom farming, we now have machines that are bagging some of the compost that we are doing, that you can bag 100 bags per minute, which can take you about 2 hours for a manual labor to do. So some of these things are helping us to improve efficiency on the farms. They are helping to bring out uh, good yield, especially when it comes to technology and in on our farms. Monitoring and evaluation equipment are helping us to do that, to even monitor what your farmers or your workers are doing on your farm. With a click on your phone, you can monitor what is happening on your farm. I have a colleague, mushroom farmer, who is all the way in the UK, have the whole farm on his phone. So early in the morning, his open smartphone, you get to see all that all the workers are doing on the farm. And that is improving efficiency, because you know you are being monitored on every minute. So there is no space for a mediocrity. So some of these things, they are helping us improve upon productivity. And I believe that we need to support some of these technology companies, especially the young ones that are doing so much to improve on every value chain of the agricultural space we have now in Ghana and even Africa as a whole. Companies or individuals need to support them so that they bring out innovative means of us, improving upon agriculture.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a great submission right there. Like sitting at home, not being at the farm, but at least you'll be able to monitor exactly what is happening on the farm. But Gabriel, let me come to you. With your field, how is technology actually helping you?
So when I started farming, using my personal experience, one of the ways that I used to do things was to just observe my fish with my eyes. And there were instances where I could observe with my eyes and I could tell, oh, everything is okay. And in less than 24 hours, I come and I've lost more than 50% of the fish in the pond. And that is because there are some of the things that to the naked eye, it is okay. But then when it comes to the composition of what's happening in the pond, things are not necessarily okay. So moving on from there, we decided to get stamp probes or water quality kits and some of these other things that we can use. So we use that to more or less like analyze the water quality parameters of the fish. We're able to tell when things are not okay and when we need to do some adjustments, we do those adjustments. Last 3 years, I happened to attend the aquaculture Ghana exhibition that was held in Ghana. And when I went to that event, I saw a lot of funny thing is they were all young businesses that were producing sensors. Like, so instead of us buying the some of these sensors from outside Ghana, some cost as much as $5,000, some cost as much as $2,000. Now we have young people that are now producing some of these sensors, and then what they are doing
Of pepper. You can't use 100 Ghana cedis to produce or farm an acre of pepper in Ghana currently. Land preparation to get the soil right, to get the exact chemicals that are needed to prepare the land. All these things come with what? Money. So there should be intervention and grants to support the youth to what? Enter into agriculture space with some sort of ease and a backbone that, oh, when I enter, we are talking about even providing them with insurance. Providing them with insurance that they can leverage on to take what? Some sort of
Insurance policy.
Exactly. So we shouldn't just leave the space for people to struggle and make it, but there should be a concerted effort to help, especially those who want to venture into it, support their interest, build the capacity, show them the way. Mentoring should be part of the process. And as mentioned, Cosmos Innovation Center is on that path. So we need more of such organized seminars and trainings, and especially someone like you that is bringing these together. We should expect that moving forward, you organize trainings with support from donor funding to help the youth to come up with great ideas which should be supported.
All right. Thank you so much. Gabriel, would you like to add something to it? Are you having any challenges, and do you think we actually need the financial support in our field?
Okay, so well, the moment you asked the question, I just decided to just notice that a couple of points. Funny thing is, Papa had already mentioned a few of them. That's his financing and then insurance gap. I remember last 2 years, as when we met at Aquaculture Ghana, one of the things that came up was there's no insurance for fish farmers. Irrespective of what you are doing, you cannot have access to it. The only institution that was available to even help out has to be the Agricultural Development Bank, right? And the Agricultural Development Bank is not even say aquaculture as because they are the poultry, they are the other ones that they have a lot of focus from them. So what we are deciding to do at Lartman Farms is to find ways to bring some resources down here locally, and then also trying to reach out to people outside of the country. But again, it's going to be a bit difficult for you as an individual compared to if there's the government coming in. Second thing has to do with access to market. Access to market has always been a massive challenge. You find a lot of us doing massive farming, and because we don't have access to markets, we do have people coming from places. They come and sign some funny, shady agreements with you. They take 2/3 of the money, give you 1/3. You have no idea that is how much they are taking. But it's because we don't have access to the market. And when I say markets, yes, of course, we are talking about trying to feed our own people first, yes. But then after that, we also need to look at the export market, because there are places where what we have them in abundance. People like the taste and how it feels like and all of that, right? So there is that. For example, in fish, there are some markets that you can't take fish from Ghana and export to those countries. Reason being is there are some certification barriers. So there is that bit as well. And just slightly, we also need a lot of great influencers can be. What I mean is all of the panelists over here are doing amazing things in whatever field they find themselves to be. I'll tell you, I have people who have set up farms outside of Ghana just by watching the videos we churn out every single time. So if we have a lot of influencers, what they are going to do is they are going to share the success stories of what's happening in agriculture. Also share the challenges and the issues that farmers are facing, and probably we can reach out to other bodies and parties that can help us. And then the last thing is, if you are sharing the stories of these people to influencers, when was the last time any of us visited a farm that does something that we do, but in a better way? So I mean, it can be in Ghana, it could be outside of Ghana, but when you go to some of these organizations or some of these places outside of Ghana in the name of tour or exposure, it comes and it reshapes your mind. Fafa was saying when she went to China, she saw something and she wanted to implement. And by virtue of visiting or having exposure to these ways of doing things, it will be able to help us. But if we don't have that, then it will be difficult for us to see the bigger picture.
All right, I see. Real submission is coming for all of you, but time is running fast on that. So let me answer my final question so that everyone can have his or her take on it. Now, by 2030, Africa is expected to end hunger. And I'm sure by 2030, maybe just after years more to go. So my question is, are we on the right path to achieving SDG goal 2 in Africa to end hunger? But let us start from you.
Thanks so much. It's interesting. I mean, considering the discussion so far.
All right, I see. Real submission is coming from all of you, but time is running fast on us. So let me ask my final question so that everyone can have his or her take on it. Now, by 2030, Africa is expected to end hunger. Yeah. And I'm sure by 2030, meaning we just have 5 years more to go. So, my question is, are we on the right path to achieving SDG goals 2 in Africa to end hunger? Perhaps let me start from you.
It's obvious that we are far away. We are making some strides, but we are far away. Why? Because we still have issues with our land. I mean, land degradation, for instance, in Ghana, we consider the landscape ongoing, they are cutting down farm trees. So we still have work to do. We still have challenges with mechanizations, use of simple tractors and tools in farming. We still have challenges with our marketing of our produce. Our colleague mentioned it. We still have challenges with finance. It's a serious thing. And insurance. How many people here? Finance is a big deal because they tell you there's a high risk venture. And so whatever you need, you have to pay so much or provide so much security. And these youth that we are encouraging to engage in agri they don't actually have these resources. So we really have a long way to go. I mean, yes, we are making some strides. You know, after is trying to support, I mean, especially in terms of trade, we have various new programs that are ongoing, the agri-tech challenges. GIZ is rolling out a lot of programs. We have Chamber of Women they are all making strides, building capacity. CSIR is also trying to develop various varieties, and as it stands, we have different varieties of rice. All these things are being done, but it looks like we are still far away. And we need to do a lot to be able to get there. If you look at their meeting, is it this meeting? The name has escaped me, but there are a malleable target of ending, hunger in 2025. With all forms, all forms of money in 2025. Is that the by agreeing that we are far fetched. And so, the scope because considering the issues that you have outlined, we are able to address even up to 20% of these issues. I believe that because minds are being changed now, we can get somewhere.
Are we on the right path as a continent to actually end our hunger by 2030? We have 5 years more to go. We have 5 years more to go.
I think we are very, very far away. For example, Ghana is importing about $200 million worth of fish produce every single year.
Just thinking within Ghana, can we actually end hunger by 2030?
That's what I'm saying. We are importing over $200 million worth of fish produce alone. And if you look at our agro imports, it's massive. So it will be a very, very difficult thing for us to do, especially if we are not able to address the basic issues that we are all facing. And the basic issues are going to be around financing, technical know-how, access to market. And then if those things are solved, then we can start having a conversation about being able to meet the goal by 2030. In my opinion, we could even have to extend this to as high as 2050. And
How many more years do we need? How many more years do we need?
So we can't tell exactly the number of years we need, but we can look at that based on the progress. You understand? And so I am saying maybe by 2050, we should have like 5% of hunger still available or 10% of hunger still available.
I see. Fafa, with the level of mushroom farming happening around you and all that, I don't want the right path.
Unfortunately, no. We still have more to achieve that goal of 2030. Some of the underlying factors could be biodegradation when you take a closer look at even the galamsey destroying some of our farmlands in Ghana and our economic stability issues. Food systems are not streamlined. Some of our agricultural products are still locked in their farmlands as a result of poor road networks to markets internally. So when you take a closer look at these things, there is still more to be done. Progress is insufficient, and we still need more concerted effort from development partners and government as well. When you take a closer look at the mushroom industry, what do we need? We need access to mechanization. We need access to finance. We need access to more technical know-how, exchange programs for youth to go out there and learn and then bring it back to the country to expose us to some of the better ways to do some of these things. That is the surest way to help us improve upon our food security. And I want to believe that we are on a path, and surely with one goal, governments, individuals, development partners, all coming together, we can chart a new course. And that course is helping Africa to reduce hunger by that 2030. And nothing cannot be achieved. We can achieve if and if
Resilience have a positive mind of mistakes craving. We can have the
positive mind. I back by action. And a step like this to sensitize the public, someone like you bringing all the issues out, bringing it to the front line, making people aware. Those are the decision-making level, helping them to take the right decision that no, 2030 is around the corner. We have 5 more years to go. What needs to be done, and what are we doing? Putting the people on their toes. We need people like you to make sure that the people that are supposed to make the right decision are making the right decision. Those that need to take the action, we have it on paper. After the Continental Free Trade Agreement, yeah, what next for our agricultural product to move beyond the borders of Ghana? What are we doing? So all these things are things that we need to address, and address them quickly. Thank you.
Foe, who is the mushroom queen. Actually, when it comes to mushroom here in Ghana and the rest of Africa, her name is actually a common name. And then our brother, who is actually to fish farming, Gabriel Lartey, the founder of Lartman Farms here in Apa. Thank you so much for joining us. They actually spoke about certain things that we all actually need to work to make sure that we achieve our goal at the end of the day, so that we can actually feed the global source of access to markets, having financial support, and having the mechanized weapon, or let's say the tools that will actually help us to achieve our goal at the end of the day. It's been a great submission here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Our topic again was, can Africa become the world's food basket? My name is Mike Frempong, live from our studios here in Accra, Ghana, to the rest of you wherever you are watching us from. Thanks to the Vice Versa Media Ghana team for this production.